Yo. Trying to reach some of you guys. Can you give me a parlay, bud? Get off my Instagram. Over a year I'm saying no parlays, no teasers, no buying. Give you a parlay. The GOAT. I don't know, does that mean I'm old? I'm only kidding. Thank you. Throw away with a couple of you guys. Boy, Justin, when are you going to come on and talk some basketball with me? You ain't intimidated, are ya? What sports book do you use? I use multiple. We just went over that yesterday. If you're only using one sports book, look, I know a lot of you guys have no choice, but it's like if there's only one shopping center in town, you're at their mercy for whatever you got to pay for their TV or their whatever. You're stuck. You've got to have multiple outs to get the best number. Hopefully soon. All right, Justin. I know you're not, pal. I know you're not. So yeah, I have multiple sports books. I actually said that yesterday. I show you guys the Dom Best screen plenty of times, and can you use a credit card to join? Guys, everything goes through the website. It's you got to use PayPal. We're adding another pay service. We got to go through the website. Go Talk Monday was nice. Go Talk Monday. All right, so today was Wednesday. I don't even remember what I had for lunch today. Well, you'll have to remind me what we talked about Monday. But I do remember what we talked about yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw the video, a clip out of the video that we took from yesterday and posted today. How fucking ironic is it how I'm telling you how LeBron's going to play. Forget about the abdomen that the pain is lingering, but he said he's definitely going to play Tuesday. The only thing that stop him from playing is COVID, and fucking LeBron comes down and gets COVID. It's a crazy world, and especially in sports right now. And today, just loaded up with NBA injuries. Guys, these injuries are so important, especially when they're happening to superstars, to all-stars. Just a quick few injuries. Lillard's going to be out the next 10 days, and that might be an estimate on the short side with his abdomen. Adebayo, he's going to miss tonight. We'll go through some of those injuries also as we go through the night. Paul George is going to rest tonight. Booker got hurt. If you saw the game last night, just huge injuries. So anybody that says those injuries don't mean nothing, they don't know the game. Of course, they mean something. That's why some of these guys get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. UGA plus 11.5 versus Memphis. Have to talk to guys, college stuff. I don't do college. When Ben comes on here, he'll give you a little spew on his college. As a matter of fact, spoke with Ben today. He's got his best game of the year so far. He's going to be throwing that at you. But I'm not going to eat up this whole show with college stuff, so save that for Ben. Go over to Ben's live stream after us, and you can speak all that college stuff with Ben. I don't do it. You taking picks today? Am I talking? I'm talking picks every day. That's what it is. I got to do something to keep you guys' attention. Want to make this show grow. Lake is still killed. They absolutely did, guys. That's why the revenge spots that I tell you guys about are so important. And again, I want a team that's getting up. Lakers had lost a triple overtime game at home. They're gonna go to Sacramento without LeBron. They're getting up for that game. That's what you want. You want to have the team that you know for sure is coming to play. Not saying one team is and one team isn't all the time. Sometimes they're both. Last night, both Golden State and Phoenix were coming for that game. Just Steph, I don't know what the fuck happened to Steph with his worst game of all time, 4 for 21. If you guys are had to beat the Bookie members or VIP members, late that game went up to 3.5, and at 3.5. I just thought that was worth the take with Golden State. And even with Steph having his worst all-time game, they were right in the game going into the fourth quarter, 4 for 21. In that game, go 4 for 21 against a lower level team, the Rockets, the Thunder, the Magic. But to go in the top two teams in a real clutch playoff type atmosphere. Booker will be out a few games too. Yep, I know it. for Steph to go like that, just horrible. What makes your lines sharper than the books? Okay, so what makes my line sharper? This is one of the questions I got. What makes my line sharper is watch the games I give out every day and watch where the line goes, and that's what makes my line sharper. That's how simple it is. What am I going to tell you guys today? Today I'm going to tell you guys the 2 games I gave out. So let's start with I gave out the 76ers this morning. And if you're a VIP member, you got that at 9 something in the morning. I gave out 76ers at plus 4.5. So that line right now is Celtics 2.5. That's what makes me fucking sharper than the books. I was the book back in the day. Okay, I came onto the other side because I can beat the number. Again, for the millionth time, you beat the number, you beat the game, and that's what I do. So I don't just get lucky. You look, every one of the games that I'm on, we're constantly beating the number. You may see the game go against me once in a blue moon because an injury happened against me, like LeBron last night. We love the Lakers. That game was going to be climbing up. It was already going up from 3.5 to 4. That game would have closed around 4.5, 5. If LeBron doesn't come down for COVID. But that's what happened. So that answers that question. What is Ben's Instagram? Ben's Instagram is Better, Bettor Media. Good job, John. He's got the lock sign there, D-Lock Sports. D-Lock, come on, there's no such thing as a lock, but I appreciate it. You were right about Memphis, Toronto. I'm right about most things, bud. Another revenge game. Again, that game I said the only thing that stopped me was the history. I think Toronto had won 7 of the last 8. So we have revenge. But when there's one team owning another, like the other game I bet tonight, which I'll tell you about in a little bit, you got to go with that side. Friday night, revenge night for Warriors at home. Not only for the Warriors, but for Steph personally. After 4 for 21 night and single-handedly losing the Golden State game, he'll come with his A game Friday night at home against the Suns. Again, Suns won't have any Booker. I'm already my pre-number on that. Where are we looking at here? You're probably looking about a 5, I'm thinking. That's just off the top of my head right now. Fuck Stu Feiner. We don't even need, it's just a waste of time. Just trying to show comparisons. John, I caught the Lakers game at pick, which is great. That's why, again, my VIP guys, after I let my guys know right away, LeBron's out. We're getting off the game. Now, I have the ability. I'm firsthand. I'm right on my computer. So I laid 3.5. As soon as I got that info, I was able to get off at 3.5. By the time I get that info, transmit that info out, I know you're not going to get that number. I reassess now that number. Bagley and Harkless, another couple of guys, were going to be out for Sacramento. Not big guys, but with Harrison Barnes already out, I assessed it with the home revenge. And I was like, boom, let's go. This game now went to Sacramento 1, and I came back and told the guys we're taking Sacramento 1. You basically went off 4.5 points. So in other words, I was laying 3.5 with the Lakers with LeBron in, and for me, LeBron's worth about 5 points to the number. So we went with the 1 point swing is about 4.5 point swing, which made it. Lakers live second half was money. Lakers in general were money. They were coming for that game. And like I said, those are the games we want to be on throughout the season. What do I got here? Those are just guys to invite. Look, Ben on here. I think I accepted you, Ben. Are you there? There we go. There's Ben there.
How's it going, John?
So good, buddy. All right, so I was giving a little warm-up. Some guys are asking... what's your where are you on Instagram? Give them your Instagram, give them all your information, and everybody tease them a little, wet their whistle with your greatest game. So why don't we start with you tonight, and then we'll do some NBA.
Yeah, I just put the Instagram handle there in the comments, guys. So yeah, I have a very big player for myself that I love today with Seton Hall and Wagner College. Seton Hall's minus 16.5 point favorites. The last 5 times they played, Seton Hall's won all 5 games by double digits. The last 4 in particular, they've won by an average of 32 points. And Wagner, they actually had a pretty good start to the year, Wagner. They started off the year 2-0, but then November 13th, they get hit with COVID plague on the team. A bunch of guys test positive. They haven't played a game since November 13th. So they're 2.5 weeks without a game. Now playing up against Seton Hall. Seton Hall's been playing great basketball. They upset Michigan. We were on that game earlier this season, and they played a 3-point game with Ohio State, which we talked about that game yesterday, where Ohio State did get the upset against Duke. So they've been playing some good teams. And Wagner, I think, yes, Wagner is better than they have been recently, but coming off of 2.5 weeks where, that first 7 to 10 days, they're not even fully practicing because you have the guys who are positive. They can't be working out together as a team. You have a bunch of issues there. And, so Seton Hall, the one thing I will say is, yes, they haven't been covering spreads that well at home, 2-11, last 13. But this matchup, it does not matter. They're above and beyond the better team. I've actually seen these two teams play against one another in person about 3 years ago, and it's just men amongst boys. I mean, Wagner College is a lower D1 school, and they're just not going to be not going to be ready in this game. I love them at 16.5, and I think they win this game 25-30 plus.
I got one of the guys making a comment in here. My cousin is the assistant coach, JFJ215. Is he open to dumping games? I'm only kidding. If anybody's out there. Is he the assistant coach for who? Is that Wagner or is he Seton Hall? Which guy are you talking about? But betting site. They're not listed on your betting site. I'm going to check this game out for you guys right now.
Yeah, it's 15.5. Griffin, you're saying you can get it at 15.5. Love it at 15.5. You can get it at that number. But yeah, 16.5, I think that's an absolute steal. And I just do not see Wagner being ready to go after 2.5 weeks going up against a team who's above and beyond more talented than them and playing on the road. So I think it's a big spot here for Seton Hall. I also have another play I like today in college basketball, guys. Don't love this one as much, but I still like it a lot. We have Louisville going up against Michigan State. Louisville comes in 4.5-point dogs. You look at the history in this matchup. The road team, which is Louisville tonight, 4-1 against the spread the last 5 times in the matchup. The underdog also 4-1 against the spread the last 5 times in the matchup. Michigan State, they had the big blowout win earlier in the year against Butler, but love Louisville in this spot here. You got a lot of public people hopping on Michigan State early, and this Louisville team has the last several games been playing a bit decent. They're coming in on 4 in a row wins. They covered the spread 4 in a row, which is more important. And I think they're going to get it here again, 5 spot here against Michigan State. Michigan State started off the year pretty good. They are coming off a loss against Baylor, where they did not cover the 6.5-point underdog spread. Before that, though, they had a win against UConn. And I think this is another spot for Louisville to continue on rolling. 4.5 dogs. I think Louisville has a good chance to get the win today, but I like them plus the points.
Right now, what I'm looking at, Ben, so Seton Hall is in what's called the added games. It's not on the main card, so a couple of guys might not have that because not every book uses the main card. And you take a night like tonight with all the teams that are on the board, and this is the reason that I do not fuck with college basketball because there's an endless amount of games. I mean, half these teams, we never booked back in my day. McNeese State, Seattle U, just never used them. We would laugh at them. Do you got a line on this game? We'd laugh at them because these are the games that they can rob on. You don't know who's playing. But so that game for the books that do have it up, that game opened 15 points and is now pretty much 16.5, even a couple of 17s across the board on Seton Hall. But again, I can see because it being an added game, not up in every book. Again, back in our day, we didn't use all the games. We didn't even use the Ivy Leagues that were D1 schools. Just didn't use them. That's where I think we touched on this yesterday. The bettors, the sharp bettors, have their bigger edges in colleges. Wherever the line moves the most points, that's where they have their bigger edge. Okay, as I told you, once we get that 1.5 advantage, we're now the bookie. The odds are in our favor. If you take a game like today, 76ers, we took 4.5. Game is down to 2.5. We're booking the bookmaker today if we're in at the right number. Which, again, guys, not to just keep belaboring a point, and I'm no fucking salesman, but here's a game that you want to be on the VIP list for. You want to get that text early in the morning before that game goes up on the website. Because by the time it was on the website, it was down to 3 already. There's a game. I've touched on this before. We talk about the sharp guys phoning the game. So here they come with this game with the Celtics, and they're moving the Celtics up all morning. You just can't be betting the Celtics in this spot. And we're going to go through the games now. But like I said, once I see the game go up to 4.5, it's a phony. There's no way they could be betting it. I love when they phony the game because I can smell the phony. It makes the line better for us, gives us that half a point or sometimes even a point more than we were going to take. And I know I'm going to be on the sharp guy's side. So I love when they phony a game. I'm going to smell that one out 99% of the times. Happen in another game, and we'll go through it. But let's start hitting the NBA after Ben gave you his locks. We don't say locks here, but his highly respected game of the year so far. Actually, let's start with the one football game Thursday, just to touch base, to update that injury report, because we've been on this game from Monday morning, basically. Coaches, like still not going to be coaching Dallas. They're not coming to New Orleans. They've all got COVID. It's the head coach McCarthy and 5 other coaches. Amari Cooper did come back to practice today. He is now questionable. So it's the first time he's practiced since he got COVID a couple of weeks ago. But for New Orleans, Kamara now is upgraded to probable. He was back to practice. Ingram, the other running back, probable. Tyson Hill, he's going to be back. He's going to probably quarterback. Waiting for the 2 tackles. They've both been at practice on and off, waiting for them to get the probable label. So I feel really good. Just getting Kamara back and the situation with the Dallas coaches, to me, is worth the plus 5.5. Anything extra would be a bonus for that particular game. You got any feeling on that game Thursday night, Ben?
Yeah, I definitely lean towards the Saints. One of the trends kind of talked about that a little bit in the recent history of the matchup. But secondly, guys, if they do get Kamara back, you got to think with all the issues Dallas is having with COVID. I mean, the Saints' offense has been a bit depleted. You get their best offensive weapon back, but in a game like this, that allows you to control pace of game. If you can play good defense and you can control the ball on the ground offensively, run the football a bunch, it kind of allows you to prevent Dallas from running away with it a little bit, kind of allows you to not have to, rely on guys like Taysom Hill, Simeon to be throwing the football around and maybe have those turnovers as drastically. So I definitely lean Saints in the game. Not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger personally on it, but that is my lean on the game.
Okay. I'm just looking at another question. Somebody saying you gave Charlotte plus points yesterday. Charlotte, was that a college game?
Yeah, yesterday went 1-1 on college, guys. Purdue hit, Charlotte did not.
And he's picking out the one loser?
Yeah.
I love the haters. I love the haters. How do you feel about the plus 4.5 with New Orleans? Can't find plus 5.5 anywhere. Well, guys, that's again gave that out to the VIP members first thing in the morning. I guess it was Tuesday, and I put it on the website early, even before I usually post the website. Before I posted the preview, I like the Saints plus 5.5 because of the fact that the coaches. So you got to get in there. How do I feel about 4.5? I feel like I don't have to make that decision because I already took 5.5. Again, while we're on that subject, last night was insane and it cannot happen. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. I had to have 60 or 70 DMs once LeBron was out of the game. I didn't get back to any years. You have to realize there's no way. There's no way. First of all, 10 or 15 of them aren't even had to beat the Bookie members, and you want my advice. You listen to the show, went and bet the Lakers, and then you went to buy. You want my advice. You didn't even buy the membership. But no way I can get back to you guys. Here's what we do. I tell you who I bet. I tell you what number I bet it at. You guys got to make the decision. I keep you abreast every injury. As soon as we get an injury, today, I'm down in Florida. If you can see my palm trees behind me. So today, we're swimming at 3 o'clock. Ben's man in the fort. Paul George, he finds out it's going to be rested. Boom, he throws it up on the website. I have no interest in that game, so we didn't send it out in a VIP. But if there's an injury that's going to make us make a bet, we send it out. So we send out the info, then we put it on the website. Last night, I'd let you guys know LeBron is out. I gave you the reason. Came off the game. A lot of reasons come off the game because first they throw LeBron out. Now I'm waiting, is anybody else going to come down? Like LeBron is the headline, but is Westbrook next? is lesser guys, is Ellington or Horton Tucker? Is somebody else going to be a close contact with, or is it just LeBron? So we wait, we find out it's not, and we find out it's just LeBron. The line goes to 1, and now I'm going to come back on the game. But you guys can't expect me to be your personal consultant, not for $19.99, guys. You either check the website or you're a VIP member, and I'll get that message back out to you. But you DM me like that, I got to block you. I can't have 60, 70 DMs. We had a crazy busy night. And then just at the last moment, we got 3 games going off that they sent the lines up crazy on. So I just can't be dealing with the DMs. It's either VIP, become a member, and we'll throw it up on the website. But the personalized service, you got to pay me a little more for my personalized service. So just anyway, let's get to tonight's NBA. And it's going to start with the Timberwolves at Wizards. And this game right now is sitting at 4.5, even some 5. And again, that's because illness. This, we've been talking about it the last few days, and it's not only COVID, but you just basically got your flu and that time of year. These basketball players, between practice, they run themselves down a little bit. So tonight, McDaniels and Vanderbilt, 2 of the forwards for the Timberwolves. They missed the last game. McDaniels has already been out. Not big guys, but now Anthony Edwards, he's questionable with the illness. So that's the big guy. That's the reason that line is 4.5. That line would never be 4.5 if the Timberwolves were all healthy. Both teams are on 4th and 6th. Last time the Timberwolves played, they only beat the Pacers. We had the Pacers, but we had them +4. They only won by 2. We won that game. The last time the Wizards played, they went into San Antonio, and you know what happened. They haven't won there since 1999, and they didn't fucking win there again, and we won that game. I'm 9-0 last 9 NBA plays. Today's plays should hit. We shall see. I don't know who you saw. The Wizards, Wolves under 216.5. What's your thought? Hey, like that, Toby. That is my thought. Want to see what's happening with Edwards. No Edwards, I'm absolutely under. I'll give you that game right now. That's another 20-point score out of the box. Anything on that one, Ben?
Yeah, I was going to say I also leaned the under in that game. Some trends. Wizards' last 6 home games, they've all gone under. So a lot of under trends with the Wizards. You add in the fact Minnesota's going to be banged up, and that really helps that out. Yes, Minnesota's had some overs hitting lately. If you look at the matchup, actually, the last 11 meetings between the teams, so 10 of those 11 meetings have gone over, but I think you got 2 different teams here, and especially if Minnesota's banged up, the way the Wizards have been playing, it's definitely an under game for me.
Yeah, Wizards have been an under machine. What do we got here? Just checking some stuff out. Bonds and Bagley out again. We'll say I know tone, guys. Just give me a second, guys. Looking at some.
Really quick, this guy A. Lowe's been asking about the Miami-Penn State game a bunch. Personally, that line's dropped from 4.5 to 2.5 for Miami, the plus points. I lean Miami, but I don't know if I like them as much at 2.5. Just some trends there. They are, where is the stat here? 6-2 the last 8 road games. Meanwhile, Penn State, they're just 0-3-1 the last 4 home games. They haven't been playing the best of basketball. They struggled a bit to cover against Cornell recently. And yeah, so I do lean Miami in that game, but I don't like the price it's at now.
I got my man Justin telling me, he's not even asking, he's telling me Miles Turner is active tonight. Justin, if you are, you got better information than me. I still got him as a question mark with an illness. I'm seeing that line right now that's coming off the board. So as we're going to talk about that game opened up 1. It's right now 1.5 for the Hawks. They lost Bogdanovich for the next couple of weeks. Reddish is also going to be questionable tonight. Those 2 of their wings, they're a very deep team, but a couple of weeks ago they also lost Hunter, their other small forward. So they could be real short at the wings tonight, waiting to get the word on Reddish. But same thing with the Pacers. They've got Holiday. Let me see if Holiday, is that another COVID? Because there's a couple more COVIDs. Yeah, Justin Holiday, the small forward, he's a starter for the Pacers. He's got COVID. He's out. Miles Turner, again, like I said, illness is questionable. So when you start to get illnesses and COVID on the same team, you start getting worried. Is there a breakout on a team? Right now, Pacers are going to all 2 on that game. I have got no opinion on that game I want to know who's playing before I can give you a real good opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta guys, we talk about this, I feel like every IG Live, but Atlanta's just brutal on the road, 2-11 their last 13 games on the road against the spread. So, yeah, for me, it's Indiana or pass. The line movement's kind of telling that as well. Indiana, the last 6 games, home favorite, 5-1 against the spread. You take out the wings, like John was just talking about, as far as for the Hawks, and really gives the Pacers a home edge, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's a game with so many people out. You just kind of have to pay attention up until tip-off. You don't really know what those rosters are going to look like.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait. Like I said, we'll wait to see what happens with the injuries on that. Again, this time of year, just the way it happened last night, guys, could happen right before tip-off. Somebody gets sick or gets COVID again. All I could do, so that's beyond my power. I can't fix anybody, can't heal anybody. We can just report the information. So we give you the game, and then injuries, that stuff's going to happen, especially this illness. We get the information out as quick as possible. Like I said, between Don Best and Justin, I'm not saying you. He says I use Roto Grinders. I don't know that site, but the 2 sites I got, I doubt Roto Grinders is beating Don Best on the info, and my other site is a backup I use. So we pretty much are on top of the info as quick as possible. Denver Nuggets, Orlando Magic, and I'm going to give you guys this game. Also, this is excuse me, this is the other game I bet today, and I sent this game out at -8 when this game came up. They started to push this line down. As soon as they started to push the line down, again, I knew this was a phony. You could only like Denver in this game. So Denver has won the last 10 meetings, 7-1-2 against the spread. Orlando, Suggs, he'll be out. He fractured his thumb in the last game. Cole Anthony should be coming back tonight, but it'll be his first game back in 5 games with an ankle. The only thing that did happen with Denver that did scare us a little bit was 2 COVID guys, which is Highland and Rivers. They're rotation guys. They're not starters. I still absolutely love Denver in the spot as long as the COVID doesn't affect anybody else. Joker came back in the last game. Big game. They go into Miami and win. Just a totally different team with the Joker in the lineup. That's why I don't go by. I think their road record is 3-6, but they had a bunch of losses, a couple losses with him out. So I don't even count that. Like I said, with the dominating record over the Magic, with Joker back, with Suggs out for Orlando, and Orlando just horrible, absolutely horrible at home. That was my one spot, Orlando, that I loved also, Brandon.
Yeah, for Denver guys, they had that win obviously against Miami after the, whole saga with the Morris brothers and everything. Jokic's brothers, they're in town. When you have travel trips like that, you go play the Knicks, then you play the Nets or the Lakers, the Clippers, or Orlando, Miami. It's not too much of a toll on the traveling wise. And yes, I saw some people already see Joker been partying. Joker might still be drunk. I mean, Europeans actually, those fuckers can bounce back from a night out like anyone else. But 2, his brothers are in town, so I think it's going to be an extra little emotional edge. And like John said, they've owned the matchup 7-1-2 against the spread the last 10. I don't see any world where they don't bring it back here tonight, unless like the COVID issues we've been having. So we'll see.
These guys are just ripping up Joker with his party. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I don't know. I'm 59 now. When I was 25, I could go out, drink till 6 in the morning, go for some breakfast in Chinatown, and then go to work. So this is a top athlete. So if he was drinking the other night, he'll be fine. I don't expect no problem. Like I said, my biggest worry is anybody else from Denver getting COVID. It looks like it's limited to those 2 players, Rivers and Highland. That came out early this morning. So in the last 8-9 hours, nothing else has come up. Look, and I'll give it to you guys. A lot of you guys that talk about who's out partying. These are kids, and they're absolutely out partying. And I can't tell you how many times I ran into guys. I'm a New York guy, and Scores was one of the main strip clubs in the city. How many guys would be out partying there, getting fucked up? And usually those guys would come and get tagged the next day with an illness. Yeah, they fucking got a hangover. That was their illness. So it does happen. There's no question about it. It's just how you deal with it. And I'll give you another true story. So where I get a phone call from a friend of mine back in the day. He ran a nightclub in the city. And he goes, John, he goes, I'm going to bet against the Yankees tonight. He goes, fucking Wells was in here all night getting fucking lit. David Wells was a pitcher back in the day for the Yankees. I think he goes out and throws a shutout the next fucking day. And that was David Wells, okay? So this shit, you know, how these guys respond, these are 20-year-olds, some guys hitting just their early 30s. They bounce back the next day. They get a little fucking run, a little steam in them. They drink some fucking Gatorade, and they're ready to go. But that's what I think about Joker. We'll see what happens tonight. I wouldn't bet against the Joker. I'm going with against Orlando. Unless they're up so big that they take him out early, I'm going when he throws down a triple-double tonight.
I dropped the other day a stat on you guys about Joel Embiid being a leading second-quarter scorer. Watch it tonight. Nikola Jokic, one of the best first-quarter players in the NBA. I couldn't tell you how many times he comes out of the first quarter, double-digit points already. And Denver usually gets off to some hot starts. So look out for that, and that's just something to keep in mind moving forward for those of you guys who like to bet first-quarter plays.
The next game, guys, is also the other game I bet. I got two bets so far, and it's like I said, it was the Nuggets, and this one, again, sent it out first thing in the morning. 76ers plus 4.5. That game presently sitting at 2.5. Again, it's great. I'm not knocking the guys that are website members. Maybe you just want to test it out and see if it's good or whatever. Guys, I'm the real deal. We're going to beat the fucking number all year long, especially in the NBA. But where I'm really beating the number is early in the morning and on the overnight line. So the early that I can get you those plays, the better. And I just can't get everything posted on the website. You know, you got games that play last night. So that story's got to be written at some time in the morning and to get the totals figured in there and stuff, where I already know pretty much by the end of tonight who I'm betting tomorrow, unless it's a back-to-back for a team or it is an injury or something. But pretty much I've already started to get my lead. So I can send that out first thing in the morning. And like I said, you guys should just be a VIP member. You really should be both. And we have new where you can be a member and a website member and a VIP. We have some different options that you can be, because you really want to see the story. You want to see the update. And today, even in the VIP, I sent out what was going on with the Denver game, because I sent Denver out at -8, and then the line went down to 7.5. And I sent out that the two players for Denver had COVID, but as long as it didn't reach any further, I still like Denver. But getting back to the Philly 76er game again, here's a 2-point move. We're taking the 76ers, so I think it's fair to give it out to you guys. What do we got here? We got Philly won all 3 meetings last year by a combined total of 30 points. Philly now, Embiid's got 2 games under his belt since coming off the COVID. And then I cannot make the Celtics 4.5 points at home better than I've got the 76ers on the road. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, something in particular about this matchup, guys. I mean, this Boston Celtics team, their primary players are all guards and wing players. They have been weak in the center position for a long time, and obviously Joel Embiid is above and beyond the best player for the Sixers. I don't see Horford Williams being able to tame down Joel Embiid. It's an Eastern Conference rivalry. Sixers are 4-0 against the spread the last 4 meetings. They're hot with it. Boston's a team right now who's struggling to find themselves a little bit, still getting that sorted out. Yeah, it feels like a matchup that's just made for the 76ers. You're giving them any kind of points on the game, and it's definitely a nice edge in my opinion.
I'm going to get this guy side with Vegas and with us in a minute. Hang with me, guy, because I seen you in a couple of spots, and I see you know what the fuck you're talking about. So I like guys that know what they're talking about. So hang with us just till we get through with this NBA. So again, guys, yeah, I'm all over the 76ers. For you guys that are asking all these other questions, you like Philly plus 2.5 now? No, it's 2.5. I liked it at 4.5. I'm gonna like it at 2 points worse. So again, this is Wagner, guys. Get Ben with these college questions later. I told you Ben will give you a few games, but then catch him with college stuff later on. We just do the NBA here. I'm just gonna pull up an info on Atlanta. Stay with me. And Reddish is gonna be out also. And looks like my man Justin was right. I do got Miles Turner in as probable now and Reddish out. And there you have it. That's why the Hawks game is moving to 2. I seen you lean, but why would that line be 2.5 with Boston? Guys, you got to talk English, or I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't talk slang.
There, too.
I don't get it. Again, and you guys are throwing up a lot. What do I think about this total? What I think about, I don't. Guys, if you remember, go to my website, read what you may get a lean. Like one guy asked about the Timberwolf total, and I told you, if Edwards is out, I can definitely see going under. You can read my previews and get a lean where I'm going. I can't give you an answer on every single game under and over and which team. If I don't talk about it, I don't think nothing about it. Anyway, let's go down to the Cavs and the Heat. Heat's going to be missing Bam Adebayo. He's going to have surgery on his thumb. He'll be out a couple of days. Butler is also questionable. Just the way this game is reacting, looks like Edwards is going to be in. This line is starting to go lower and the total going higher. So that's telling me Edwards is going to be in for the Timberwolves. Just hasn't popped up as official yet. Waiting to catch it now. And if you guys see, we're constantly working, literally as we're doing the live, we're constantly getting information. So back to the Heat game, like I said, Adebayo out, Hero back. He'd missed the last 2 games because of an illness. Butler still a question mark, and that game is down to 3. Heat won all 3 games last year by a combined 46 points. Heat are coming off a loss. Denver beat them at home. Cleveland coming off a win from Dallas. If Butler's in, I'm liking the Heat at -3. That's going to be a tough one for me to get out. These what we call urgent messages, which Don Best sends out. These are the tough ones. When they come out with an urgent message, everybody gets it at the same time. So I've always got a couple of windows open where I can tap in a bet real quick. I might beat them. I might get the second number. But by the time I do that, then hit out the VIP, and especially by the time I post it on the website, I mean that number's gone for guys like that. So the guys that are in urgents, but guys that are like a Harrison Barnes, who's also out tonight again for Sacramento. I mean, he's a big part of that team, and he's not an urgent message. So he's a fly under the radar guy. Holmes also the center for that team, not an urgent. We've talked about him before. Toronto, OG Anunoby. He's a big part of that team. So these guys, big parts of the team, not urgent messages. We can get by with an injury like that. But like yesterday, LeBron's got COVID. I mean, that's fucking major news for like CNN, Fox News. That's not just the sports world. That's like, wow, LeBron got COVID. So the whole world's going to know that simultaneously. We're not beating anybody with that info. We're just going to get that info to you as quick as possible. And like I said, you got to do what you can with it. Let me pop this up. This should be the confirmation that, yes, like I said, so Edwards is in and Vanderbilt, the other forward who missed the other night, both in for the Timberwolves. So that game's now at 3.5, and total has gone up to 217. Like I said, with Edwards in, if Edwards was out, another 20-point scorer, I would have liked the under, so I'll be off that game. Getting back to the Heat game, like I said, I'm all over the Heat. If Butler's in, because you already got Adebayo out, and I like the spot for the Heat. What do you think about that one, Ben?
Yeah, Heat own them. They're 12-1 against the spread the last 13 meetings in Miami. They're 7-1 the last 8 overall. I mean, ever since obviously LeBron's been long gone from Miami, but ever since LeBron left Cleveland and went to Miami, Miami's owned the Cavs, and you can't really take Cleveland in this spot. They are 4-0 against the spread the last 4 games, but not a good spot for them. Bam Adebayo is obviously a bit of a bad loss, but if Jimmy Butler is in, I think he is enough alongside Kyle Lowry. Miami Heat's a pretty deep team. They're one of the deeper teams in the NBA, and they don't even have Victor Oladipo yet. He hasn't been playing this season, so love them in the spot. Another trend, just quickly, is the over is 6-0 the last 6 times these two teams have met, and it's 10-3 the last 13 Heat games overall. So a couple of over trends there for this game as well.
All right, I got Dallas Mavs at Pelicans. Porzingis was questionable, but he will play in this one. Mavs beat the Pelicans. That was about 2 weeks ago. They beat them by 16 at home. But, again, instead of revenge, Mavs have beat them 7 of the last 8, 6-2 against the spread. So I'm not using a revenge factor in this game. And that number's staying at 3.5, 4. Exactly what I make the game right now. So I have no feeling on that one either, Ben.
Yeah, low line. With the Mavs, I feel like they lay some eggs sometimes. There's some nights they just absolutely don't show up at all. And I could see them being in that spot tonight. But again, with that trend of 6-2 against the spread, the last 8 against New Orleans, nothing there that makes me want to take New Orleans. And game I'm staying clear away from.
Okay, and got Rockets and OKC Thunder playing now 2 nights ago. Rockets won in Houston. They put it on them, I think, by 12 or 13 points. I would have been all over OKC in this one. I held off. They pushed this game down. It was obviously a phony. But during the course of that, we found out that Giddey is going to be out tonight. Again, illness. And Baisley, with his elbow, is questionable. That's 2 of the 5 starters for OKC. So I'm just taking a step back off that one. If I'm going to have – and I go with, I go with the Pistons. Like I went with the Pistons last night when they brought the lineup tape. I think we were just talking about the Pistons last night, these garbage teams. I'm like, yeah, they're garbage. But meanwhile, they're 5-5 against the spread on the road. So I'll take a garbage team when I feel it's the value's there, but no need to take one of these teams. Like I said, you're missing 2 of your 5 starters and you still want to take them. So in this spot, I'm just going to pass on this game. I was this close to laying it this morning once I see that the line started to come down because it was an obvious revenge play. And they were just pushing the line down because they wanted to lay 2. The opening number was 3 on this game. Now with the injuries, not getting involved with it, just leaving it go. Rockets have won their last 3 in a row, playing a little better ball. And OKC had won their last 6 against the spread. They had lost their last 6, but won their last 6 against the spread prior to the game at Houston. So I'm just throwing my hands up on this one. I'll find better spots.
I do really like the under in this matchup, guys. It's 4-1 the last 5 meetings. Thunder have been an under train. They're 11-4 the last 15 with the under for OKC. And for the Rockets, the under, where's this trend at? Sorry, 5-1 after a straight-up win. But anyways, a lot of under trends in this game. And if OKC is banged up, missing a couple of starters, so that's going to add into the factor. Usually when you're less guys, you're going to be trying to play a little bit slower, trying to control the clock a little bit more, and try to make sure you're not running up and down. If you're not able to go 10 guys deep, you can only go 8. So I like that under tonight with OKC and Houston.
2 games left. You got Charlotte at the Bucks, and from what I'm looking at, Bucks are starting to get their shit back together. I've actually got them now the number 1 team in the East. If you guys go to my website, you go by the ratings. I've got them as back to being the number 1 team in the East. Middleton's back 7 games. They've won the last 7 games. So little by little, they're getting their shit back together. Now, Hornets did beat them 2 out of 3 matchups last year, but they're in their 4th city in 6 days, while the Bucks have had 2 days off. And to me, the number's the right number. I make this game 9, and that's basically what it is, 9.
Yeah, as far as matchups in this game, guys, I mean, there's no one in the NBA who can really keep up with Giannis. But as far as the Hornets in general, they don't match up well with a guy like Giannis at all. As far as some of their wings with Bridges and such, there's just not enough size there. And then some of their lengths in the guard spot with a guy like LaMelo Ball. But even that, they have the length and the wrong positions. They don't have any interior defenders, any big men who can be able to stop a guy like Giannis. So Bucks are pass for me, but that's a big number right there. So I'll be staying away, especially with the history last year with Hornets, what they have done against the Bucks.
Not many people that can stop or even slow down Giannis. You gotta just build a wall for that guy. And last game, guys, is Sacramento and Clippers. Again, injury game here. Sacramento, again, won't have Bonds. Again, won't have Bagley. And again, that Bagley, he was a starter last year. Back to the bench this year. He'd only been getting some rotation minutes these last few games, but he's also out. And for the Clippers, the big one, I had said earlier, they're giving Paul George the night off. It's basically a rest spot. He'd been turning the ball over a little bit, not playing great games. Clippers played 2 horrible games, their last 2 games. Pelicans routed them. They fell down in a spot that I love them. I don't ever run away from my losers. Happens every once in a while. But I love them against Golden State. They totally shit the bed as they did the next night against New Orleans. So 2 bad games. I guess they're just going to sit Paul George, give him a day. Although it was basically that Reggie Jackson. He's had a couple of terrible games too. But they're giving him off. That line's 5.5. Sacramento, they've won 3 of their last 4 trips into LA against the Clippers into LA. So again, to me, this number for me was 8.5 with Paul George in. Right now with him out, I'm right around the 5.5 number. That's where it's at right now. So I've got no opinion in that one either. I've got my 2 plays. I was going to go with the Timberwolves under. If Edwards was out, he's in, so no bet there. And we're still waiting on the Jimmy Butler info on the Heat. What did you think about that last game, Ben? Anything to add on that last one before I want to get this side with Vegas guy in here?
Yeah, with Kings and Clippers, I mean, I initially liked the under, but that line dropped quite a bit with the Paul George news, kind of down to 214 now. That's not a number I'm really too interested in. The trends are there for it in the matchup, 5-2-1 last 8. For the Clippers in general, it's 5-2 the last 7 home games. You have the Kings, who are playing off a back-to-back, where last night in the first half, they looked like they couldn't be stopped. In the second half, they looked like they didn't know what basketball was. They couldn't buy a bucket for their life. So I don't know what we're going to get out of the Kings tonight. I don't know if this is going to be one of those turnaround games like we talked about where the Nuggets, they're in Orlando after a stop in Miami, and now the Kings just have a couple of quick stop in or headed down to L.A. now after the game up in Sacramento last night. So not a far travel, about a 30-minute flight, and I don't know what we're going to get out of the Kings today. If I had to say it, I'd lean the under, but with that number dropping, I don't want to touch it.
All right, Ben, I'm gonna jump get this guy in here, and I think he's going to be a college guy from. I've seen him on a couple of other guys' shows. Did I do this right?
Beat the Bookie. How you doing, man?
Yes. How's it going, my man?
It's going.
All right. Come on. What are you coming with? You got some NBA to talk? Are you doing the colleges? What do you want to get at?
No. I was trying to tap in yesterday when you had mentioned something about rigged. I didn't get the whole where you're going with it, but I wanted to kind of pick your brain, given that you've been, doing this for quite some time. What's your take on line discrepancies? Because it seems like you kind of take a side more so to value, to where if a line is short, so to speak, you see that as value. I see that as a discrepancy, and I try to justify that discrepancy. If I can't justify that discrepancy, then I dig a little bit further, right? Or I mark it down, I come back to it. If I can't justify it, then I look at it at the money, right? Where's the money going? Go ahead.
So let me get like one thing at a time. So justify it meaning what? What are you talking about? Justify it.
So right, okay. So this what have you, right? The game's 4 points short, right? Well, why is it 4 points short? Is there an injury? Are they off a back-to-back? Travel, this, that, or the other?
Stop you again one more time. So I actually saw you yesterday talking about the Ohio State-Duke game, right?
Right.
We're leaning to Ohio State. Am I correct?
Yeah. I took Ohio State plus a 3 and down.
Again, I'm not a college guy, but as we were talking with Ben, and my synopsis was just from an NBA point of view. What I know was you had Duke coming off a real big win against Gonzaga, and it was a road game in a row. So there's not a discrepancy. These are the reasons why the line is short. That's, in other words, every game, what the reason is. I mean, there's a reason. Just what the reason might be. Like, why is I'm trying to get a good example today. Okay, so why did the Clippers go from 8.5 to 5.5? Well, Paul George is out. That's the reason. I mean, all this information is out there like this now. It's not like years ago they could hide information. I'll give you a straight up story. Before Don Best, it used to be Jim Feist. Jim Feist used to have the stuff that used to transmit the lines. It used to ask it to come out on paper before computers, like all the newsrooms used to get, okay? So this is back in the day, and they're sending out Larry Bird as probable. It was towards the end of his career when his back was giving him problems. So they're sending them out as probable, probable, probable. We think we got the jump on everybody because we got the info. So we're slanting our line towards the Celtics. Larry Bird's going to play. He didn't even make the fucking trip. These guys, there's so much larceny, especially back in the day. They were in on it. They know by sending out the wrong information that they can keep the line where they want it, and everybody can go and bet the fucking Knicks. So these games are, but I've been through all these games. So there's always a reason why the number is. So the game you were talking about was simple. Why was it a short number? Duke coming off a huge win over Gonzaga, being on the road for a second game. So that's a spot. You know, you have your letdown. You're on the road again. That's
right.
What a spot. To me, there's three things. It's what my numbers come up. I rate each team, home and away. The spot, what's the spot that they're in? Is it a revenge spot? Is it a comeback spot, a bounce back spot? Is it a letdown spot? And then obviously it's your injuries. So there's not much to the word you use, differentiate. I don't know. But,
but okay. So yeah, just to finish where I was going with it. Okay, so you have the discrepancy. So you tend to lean towards you can typically justify why a line is short. But then to add to that, let me touch on this: a disparity in the money. There's an 80-20 split on a game, but yet the line. What's your take on that? Because the way I look at it is
just to interrupt you, just so I let my guys all know, Jimmy Butler is out. So now it's not only Bam Adebayo, but it's Jimmy Butler both out for the Heat tonight. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So here's my approach. So for the books to make money, right? You want 50-50 action. That's the idea, right? That's
sure.
idea. So you want 50-50 action. You take 10% from the losing side. But there's a lot of games where you're not getting 50-50 action. So what do the books do to limit their liability? They move the lines. So if you have 80-20 split on a game, the idea is to move that line to entice, more action on the other side. But there's a lot of times where the books kind of position themselves with that liability. They don't move the line. So that's
jump in again. I used this expression yesterday. The fox don't give a fuck what the sheep are thinking. You understand? It's, when I laugh because so many people say, the public does not move lines. Like here today, I gave the example earlier. They're betting the Celtics early this morning, and they pushed the line up to 4.5. Well, the fucking public cannot move an NBA game then at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mind you, I don't go against the public. I go against the majority being sharps and the public.
Well,
that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't jump on it.
You're not going to make a living betting against the sharps. They're called the sharps for a reason, because this is what I do. Like, here, this is what I do. I don't have, this ain't my side hustle. Like, I watch a lot of fucking guys on Instagram. They make me laugh. I give them all credit in the world, but I say it straight out. They either got a shtick going on, they got a gimmick, or, they get a following because of that. But they don't know much more than the fucking guys they're talking to. I saw one of the guys the other day. They were going to bet the Seahawks because it was Russell Wilson's birthday. Like, if these are paid for money, I mean, come on. So I've been in this fucking business over 40 years. Like I said, I know what the lines are. When I see them move a game in the morning, I know if it's a real play. I know if it's a phony. Just because I know what the line is supposed to be. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There's a discrepancy here if you call it, or the line is short for a reason. There's an injury. One team owns another. Like I just gave the stat tonight. I hate to lay a big number, but the Nuggets, I'll lay this number. They've beaten Magic 10 in a row, 7-1-2 against the spread, and they don't play for the next 2 days. If they were playing tomorrow, I wouldn't be as apt to lay that number, because you figure, hey, we got a big lead. Let's get Joker. Let's get our guys on the bench a little bit. With 2 days off, they might leave him out there for an extra little bit of run. You know what I'm saying? So these are the reasons. I analyze every single NBA game, and that's why I only do NBA. I know you also do these props and stuff, and more power to you.
No, I don't do props.
Oh, you don't? I thought you had a couple of props with the Duke-Ohio State game last night.
No, just the under in Ohio State.
Okay. Well, like I said, I saw you somewhere else. I knew you were a guy that knows his shit, so I feel like talking to you. So
yeah. You as well. That's why I wanted to kind of touch base, try to see what your point of view is on that. What's your angle? If you agree, disagree.
My point of view yesterday was talking about when guys say like Vegas makes the calls or Vegas decides who's going to win games or Vegas ain't going to let this happen.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
They don't realize how retarded they sound. Like
right.
that would be a conspiracy. Like like who shot JFK? Come on. It's just not like that. Like I said, I gave you the example. Some years back, Tim Donaghy, the referee, was legit fixing games. I don't give a fuck what the NBA or the FBI says. He was fixing games.
Right.
He wasn't using his knowledge to bet games. He was the referees on games that games were getting fixed on. So the bottom line. So he was the only guy in on it. It wasn't a whole group of referees. So just one guy, and he still got fucking caught. So if Vegas was fixing NFL games, I mean, it just couldn't happen.
That's what it was. So that's what that kind of brings up the exact question what I was kind of after. So not in a sense that Vegas rigs the games, but I wanted to get your take on whether you think the books position themselves or are comfortable with the liability on the table.
Absolutely. Just saying that, how, like I said, we thought we had the goods years back. They're telling we got the information. Bird is playing today. Okay, let's position it. If everybody got the line this, we're going to make the line this and make them bet the Knicks. So, of course. Look, years ago, there was a group called the Computers. They were the masters of college sports, college football, college basketball. Now, again, I'm going back 30-some-odd years, 35 years, let's say. There was no computer.
I'm not even 35 years old. That's why I wanted to talk with you.
Everybody out there from the dinosaur days. So we worked by telephone back then. It wasn't like, let me see if I could show you guys. Like can you guys even see the down best screen at this time?
Yeah, it's reversed, but you can see it.
Okay, so I just went dark on me. So if you see all the black, that's games getting changed as we're speaking. So in today's world, when a line hits, like LeBron's out, got COVID. Everybody in the entire world gets that knowledge. Anybody that's using the Don Best system has that knowledge at that second. The game comes off the board that moment, okay? Back in the day before we had computers and shit, everything was on phones. Guys would get this information, but it didn't happen in seconds. We had minutes for us to take a bet and to move the game and then to put our line in position to get bets against where we moved it. You follow? So in other words, like I was saying, go to the computer guys. They were the group that moved all the college football, college basketball. So let's just say they gave us Texas and Oklahoma, and they laid Oklahoma -3. We'd go to 5.5. Everybody's sitting at 3, and they would say, well, they're going to bet Texas. They're going to catch the middle. Meanwhile, by the end of the day, that game was 6.5. So we caught everybody in. You follow? So we're not going to get middle. They're going to middle themselves. They thought I'll bet plus 5.5 here, and I'll lay 3 with my guy. Maybe I'll catch the middle. That was the edge we had. So those days are over. I even talked about not too long ago, I used to sit on the computers and read tweets because that's how everybody, if you go to NBC Edge, which is one of the websites I use for injuries, all they're reposting tweets from sports writers, and that's how they're picking up their injuries. Mm-hmm. What I would do was I was cutting out the middleman. I would just sit there and read the tweets. I would follow every sports writer from every team, every sports organization, boom, boom, boom. So I would catch, I think I may have told the story one time. I get the San Antonio reporter tweets out, he just saw the Spurs at the airport. Spurs were coming to Miami. They were back-to-back, 5th and 7th, but they were getting on the plane without Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. So I catch the Heat, I'm thinking at -3 or whatever it might have been, and that game went to 8. It's just that these are the things that I would catch back in the day, which can't be done anymore because, again, everything, the gambling, a lot of the big gambling, the sharp gambling is done by computers. So in the way that Wall Street gets traded by computers. In other words, the computer is already analyzing the information and betting out as soon as they have, like, as soon as this Butler information come out. Now they're out, Bam and Butler. They're already out taking the number. You know what I'm saying? So the human hands cannot beat the computers anymore. And there is my new gig. And that's what this is, like I said. So my edge, most of my edge, is in the mornings, deciphering lines, beating the early line, getting an edge on the number. Baseball season, getting them. I'm going to be on the dogs 90% of the times, taking the overlay. Give me the Rockies at home against Bueller or Kershaw at plus $1.75. Value. And what you're talking about, yes, I want value. Give me the value all year long. It might not win every single day, but at the end of the year, if I'm taking value, I'm going to get the money at the end of the year.
Good deal. Good deal.
Anyway, anytime you need some education, come on in. Oh, yeah, I like your stuff. I did like your stuff.
Yeah, I like your well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I wanted to pick your brain a bit. I wanted to get your take.
Anytime, we appreciate anybody coming on. Like I said, it's out there. My offer, all right, Ben, our invitation's still out there for J.A. Cavalier. Still waiting to come on.
Yeah, I don't know if that asshole's ever coming on, John. He blocked me, so I can't talk to him.
Stu Feiner is welcome to come on. He can smash fucking pies in his face too on the other side.
Yeah. The market is saturated with a bunch of bullshit, but
it really is. Okay, and that's why I try to tell guys, you know, Ben even said today, we don't use the word lock. I don't guarantee anything. We're gonna get the best information. You go to my website. I don't know if you're a numbers guy. I don't know if you've been on my website, but you go to my website and you go look at my ratings, my home and away ratings, and as long as the teams aren't like take two games, let me give you a game that's straight up. So here's a game that's straight up. Dallas, I got rated 34.7 on the road. New Orleans Pelicans, I got rated 31.0 at home. So that's a 3.7 difference. Both teams are off a day. There's no major injuries because Porzingis is now up to probable. The line on that game everywhere in the world is 3.5. My number is 3.7. I mean, this is, you know, again, I'm not patting my, fuck, I am patting myself on my back. I'm that fucking good. I've been that good for years. I can tell you more shit that'll make everybody's heads fucking spin, but I don't want to open myself up to too many other problems, whoever might be watching. But I'm real good, and I'm real. And a lot of these guys, like I said, if you use it, it's Russell Wilson's birthday to bet on fucking Seattle, and guys are paying you for it, more power to you. I mean, again, some of these guys are hustling, and good for them. I'm not knocking them. Don't get me wrong. I knock the guys like Stu Feiner, Jay Cavalier, who are fucking out-and-out fraud. You know, they just
90% of the market is fraudulent. Yeah.
Even more than 90%. I mean, a guarantee. And the guys that aren't, the guys that are, you know, at least they'll put their face to it. I just don't know how good they are. Like I said, I watch guys and they're out at ball games and they're out and they're doing this. The fuck, I went for a swim for a couple hours and Ben's watching the fucking computers. You can't live that lifestyle if you're doing this. And I've been doing this my whole life, so I know. You know what I mean? But we're on this show over an hour. Great talking to you. Pop in anytime. Definitely conversation. Guys, I gave you a lot of information out there. Hope you're loving it. Hope you enjoy watching us. We're here every weeknight, 5 o'clock. That's about it, guys. I gave you 2 games also. We got Nuggets. We got 76ers. Let's make some money.
Good luck, guys.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.